Good evening and welcome back to Clix with Q. On tonight's program, we're going to be going over the Invisible Woman, Susan Richards. All right, welcome back for our fourth and final member of the founding first family. So let's see here. First, we've got Invisible Woman from the Fantastic Forces set. As you can see, I have the veteran edition of her. One thing about the old ones, as some of you may remember, is that the rookie was completely visible, the experienced were half visible, and the veterans were completely, how would I say, invisible for these old Sue Clix. So this one obviously is the fully invisible one. It's very nice, and she also flies, which is cool as well. Obviously, the stats are not something we need to go over because they really, why would you use these in modern day? Next, we have the Sue Storm, the unique version of her, and her stats are pretty much the same as the other one. This one is the colored version, so you can see, and it's actually a really good paint job, honestly. And the sculpt is not bad either, considering that it's one of the original sets, at least in comparison to modern sculpts. There are some other sculpts. Maybe we'll look at the Malice one, and we'll see that one is really not that great compared to even ones that came before it. So yeah, this is the Malice sculpt. I don't know why the sculpt has she's got a energy cape. I don't know why it's translucent like that. To my recollection, she just had a regular red cape in the comics, but whatever. Her dial's fun for old time games, but obviously pretty useless in modern. So we're going to move on from that. Next we have Invisible Woman from... Which one is this? This is the Secret Invasion set. Her force field looks a little strange, the way it comes out of her hand, and kind of at the angle it's at. But I can't tell if it was glued that way by somebody else beforehand, and it's just not supposed to be that way. I guess you can kind of see on there. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like on that picture there. Okay, well, her dial's okay as well. Really, there's much better modern Sues, so we're not going to worry about these dials here. The sculpt is okay too, even without the force field, which we can see on this version of her, the Sue Storm version. Which, you gotta love the silver rings. Yeah, this is I like the sculpt a lot. Even, without the force field there. All right. Next we have the Invisible Woman from gosh, I mess that set up every time. It's not Avengers Defenders War. Anyway, this one it's no good. Look at her. The sculpt is decent, I suppose, but not really that great. It's tiny, really, and it's mostly because of these strange little bases, these little pedestals they've got them on. It forces the rest of the sculpt to be tiny because that's all the plastic they have to use. But yeah, the paint job is decent, I guess. They actually got those lines in there. So yeah, we're gonna move on from this one. Next, we've got the Invisible Woman from the Captain America set. This one's legacy card still doesn't really make her something you'd want to play in modern. She's an interesting idea, and I love the barrier. I love how it comes on and off. and obviously it's a representation of one of those classic comic book covers. But, there's better sues for the points that you have to pay for this one. And really, they should have made the legacy card. They should have at least made her, first of all, have Indomitable, but then also, 90 points or 100 points instead of keeping her at 110. But that's WizKids for you. They make the strangest of mistakes. Sometimes WizKids nails HeroClix, and other times they just make the most mind-boggling mistakes that one would make, and you're like, why would you do that? Okay, moving on. Okay, we've got the creme de la creme. Oh, this Sue is perfect, guys. This one is just... Okay, let's just get into it here. This is the Sue from the Cosmic Clash starter set. She's got a trait here, Hide and Seek. Free. Choose one. Until your next turn, opposing characters can't target Invisible Woman unless they began their turn within 3 squares of her. Or, terrain markers are considered clear for line of fire this turn. Excuse me. If Invisible Woman is within 4 squares of them. I should note that she has improved targeting hindering, because she can see through that stuff, which is nice. And then she has a special defense power. You'd be surprised what lengths I can go when pushed. Barrier, toughness, willpower. When Invisible Woman uses Barrier, after resolutions, you may knock back 2 squares any number of opposing characters adjacent to those markers. So obviously with the new rules, willpower becomes a lot better. Now I don't, like I've said before, I don't play by the new rules. So I have kind of a hybrid approach to willpower. In general, if somebody has willpower, then they don't take pushing damage, and they get to roll their 5 or 6. That, if they have the power, willpower. However, the only exception I have to this is people with the power Cosmic. While it does state in the team ability that they have willpower, that really takes certain characters to a ridiculous new level. I think I bemoaned this same thing in my last video with Mr. Fantastic. Anyway, Sue's got willpower, so she can, it's nice that she now gets to roll a 5 or 6. Okay, and then she has a special damage power, which is her stop click. Johnny, stay with me. Stop, but only if another friendly character with the Fantastic Four keyword is on the map. Shape change. Looking at her dial here, it's just straight beauty, isn't it? Nothing below an 18 defense value. That's perfect, And I really make great use of her hide and seek trait with the until your next turn, opposing characters can't target Invisible Woman unless they began their turn within 3 squares of her. That's mean. That is so mean. And that in combination with her defense makes her a target that your opponent is very rarely going to be able to even come close to. Now, she doesn't start with defend, but she does have it on her second click, and then on her 5th and 6th clicks. Other than that, she's got her special defense power, which is really just unbelievable. I know in modern rules there's no push, knockback damage, but that's stupid. We all know it's stupid. And if you don't think it's stupid, look into your heart. Look deep into your heart. You know it to be true. If you've ever been shoved into a locker in your life, then you know that knockback damage is real. Okay. We're going to move on from this Sue. She's got real quick. She's got a 100-point line and a 75-point line. She's really quite good at both. I like starting her at the 100 line because I like using powerful Sues. All right, next we have the original, the OG 40-point Sue here. She's decent, I suppose. She's got that in the beginning thing, the 1+ in the attack total with the roll of 4. I don't like those roll things, whatever. And then she's got like a reforming your team from your sideline nonsense thing that's for competitive play. Although, how funny would it be if I just sat down at the table with my friends and I made my team and I was like, here's my team, guys, and they're like, oh, okay, cool, and then I just turn around and I'm like, gotcha, form the new Fantastic Four, and then I read the whole trade out to them and change my whole team, and they're like, okay, Whatever. All right. She's got her stop click there. Stop, but only if there's another friendly character with the Fantastic Four keyword within 4 squares. She also has defend on that click. Looking at her dial here, she's actually pretty decent, I would say, for 40 points. And here's why. Her stealth will be something that'll, make people have to usually base her to attack her if you position her correctly. And you can position her within 4 squares of another Fantastic Four person, or preferably adjacent to them. You can do that by either telekinesing them to her or, getting up to them. Anyway, she can fly too, which is, note that she can fly, so she can carry people, and she can telekinese people. When she's adjacent to them, she'll obviously give them the 18 defense that she has, plus her enhancement if they're shooting. And then if she gets hit, then she drops down to her stop click, which will be, a 19 defend. Nothing to scoff at. For 40 points, it's a pretty useful Sue, I would say. Looks like I gave her dial a 7. I should have given it an 8. This is all wrong. This is wrong. It should be an 8. All right, moving on to the Matt Fraction Sue Storm. Jeez, can you imagine? That guy's married to, what's her name? Kelly Sue DeConnick. What an ogre of a woman, inside and out. Jeez.
Matt, I noticed you didn't put enough strong females in your last issue of Fantastic Four.
I'll do better next time. Okay, she's got her little defense power, barrier super senses. Barrier is free, but only to generate markers and squares adjacent to friendly characters with the Fantastic Four keyword that were attacked since your last turn. Normal barrier placement restrictions still apply. That's pretty nice, honestly. Come to think of it. And she, when looking at her dial here, starts with telekinesis. So she's really moving people into place. And then if you hit her, barrier is free. I like that a lot more now that I'm looking at it. 50 points, not bad. She gets shape change later in her dial. No Indomitable, but whatever. And then the Force Blast is actually pretty useful if you do it right. And it is Pulse Wave. Wow. She gets Pulse Wave and Willpower at the end. So she's pretty decent, I suppose. I never really looked at her and thought that she was this decent. And true to form, I gave her dial a 6. She's okay. She's not the greatest. I give her a 7. This whole thing is messed up. All right, now we've got essentially Spy Sue. She did have her own series. It was like a short series. I think it was like 5 issues, I want to say. I ordered them all from my LGS, but they never ordered them. And that's, a pretty recurring theme over there. Yeah. Anyway. This Sue's okay. Let's see here. Most importantly, she's got stealth and she can see through hindering. And it says adjacent friendly characters that share a keyword with her can use stealth and improve targeting hindering, which is pretty nice. Give that to the whole Fantastic Four team ability. You can put her on Avengers, see? You can put her on S.H.I.E.L.D. You can put her on Celebrity and Spy. Really, with that newest Empire set, there's a lot of nice new S.H.I.E.L.D. pieces. Like that Wolverine. They made a legacy card to Daredevil. If you're willing to use house rules, you can use Punisher of S.H.I.E.L.D. You can make a pretty cool, and then obviously there's some pretty good Nick Furies. And there's a decent Maria Hill. And I like using Quake because, I don't know, she's pretty darn good. So yeah, Sue's got this special attack power, Incapacitate. When Invisible Woman uses it after resolutions hit characters, modify attack -1 until your next turn. So looking at her dial here, she's got that Incapacitate for 3 clicks, and then she switches over to Precision Strike with 1 damage. I don't get the point of this dial in the sense of why she has toughness, 1, and 2, what the deal is with her 1 damage. I suppose, I guess, let's see here. No. See, low level invisible force field when I'm on the clock. I guess I don't like that. That sounds like nah. I don't like that at all. She shouldn't. I mean, okay, whatever. It's fine. The point is the one damage. Really, that's the problem. And she's pretty bloated for 75 points. But if you can get that 3-shot incapacitate off at the beginning of the game, good for you. All right, moving on to the deep cuts, Invisible Woman. Right? Yes, we are moving on to the deep cuts, Invisible Woman. Yeah, so I should have mentioned before, this sculpt, oh my gosh, look at it. It's just perfectly dynamic. It's interesting. It's like it allows for a wide range of Sues because a lot of them have hair like that. And yeah, it's just especially this, obviously you can see I did my paint job. Here's a special thing that I like about my paint job in comparison to the other Sues that we'll see. The other Sues have their invisibility tinted blue, like usually light blue, but there's one that's dark blue. And then there's one that's like yellow. I don't know. I don't like the tint. And also, I don't like the cloudiness of the original Deep Cuts figure. So what I did is I dipped her in some acetone. It did not take her white primer off that came with the Deep Cuts. I wish they didn't have that on there, to be honest with you. But it did, to a degree, strip the kind of cloudy varnish that's on the invisible pieces off, and it made mine much, much clearer, as you can see. So she actually looks invisible, or her power does, her force discs at that point. Anyway, this one's pretty decent for 75 points. 75 and 20. Gotta be honest, I love these 20-point Fantastic Fours with the defend of 18, and then she gets the stop click immediately with this defend? Yeah, it's got defend as well. And she's got a trait, her force field shove free. Choose a character within range and line of fire and roll a d6. Knock that character back equal to the result in the direction of your choosing. So ranged, literally a free ranged force blast, her whole dial. That is nothing to scoff at. Nothing at all. The barrier up top is a little useless when it doesn't have force blast attached to it. But I suppose, well, actually, you could force blast somebody and then put a barrier up. This Sue is she's very useful, I would say. 75 is a bit much to pay for the type of play, the type of strategy you're going to be using if you're using this Sue at all. But she's certainly worth the points. I like her a lot. All right, so then here we have, this was the play-at-home kit, Sue. Yeah, it's the play-at-home kit, Sue. So it's the same sculpt as the one we find in Future Foundation, but this one's invisible, so it's better. This is supposed to be Ultimate Sue as well. There's no point at which they make Ultimate versions of any of the other Fantastic Four, but, they were like, here's Ultimate Sue. So, yeah, she's here. Look, and she's got the Ultimates team ability, too, which is pretty decent. She's got a trait, I can make anything invisible. Free, choose a character within range and line of fire. This turn, that character doesn't block lines of fire. That's not how her power works, but, I mean, in the sense of, you're still shooting through that person. Just because you turn them invisible doesn't mean they're not there. But, I think they're trying for something more like the Cosmic Clash one, which says that she makes the hindering or obscuring terrain disappear, essentially. But that, whatever. Looking at her dial here, she's useful, I suppose. The telekinesis is really what you glob onto there. The 19 defense is nothing to scoff at. and the 2 damage with Outwit. Outwit is where you like that, but then later at the end of the dial, the Perplex with the 1 damage. It's like, what am I doing with her there? Like, what is she? She's just alive to be a Perplex person? I don't know. The sculpt's kind of boring, but you gotta love how she's invisible. All right, next we have the Future Foundation Fast Forces Invisible Woman. She's 50 points like all the others. She's got that same, when somebody moves up to her, roll a d6, and if she gets a 4, they have to end their action or they take a penetrating damage. She has traded stealth, and then looking at her dial here, she's like not good. I don't know. She's not indicative of Sue Storm. I mean, Richards. What's the, look at the... I don't like Energy Explosion for Sue ever, really. But this dial doesn't really do anything for me. It's just kind of boring. It's just there. There's nothing really to say about it. So we're going to not talk about it anymore. Next we have the Sue Storm from the Future Foundation set. She's in a white suit this time. Isn't that different? She's got her little sidekick thing. When a friendly sidekick is targeted by an attack, you may replace that sidekick's defense value with Invisible Woman's printed defense value, so it's just defend for all sidekicks. She's got pretty good defense values, her whole dial, except at the end when she has 17s. And she's got telekinesis, which I guess is pretty good. 60 points. For her 40-point line, she might be pretty useful. Or she could be useful. At least equally as useful as the other 40-point Sue. But then she's still not as useful, is she, as the 20-point Sue. And what could you use those extra 20 points for? So, my brain is always trying to construct the perfect Fantastic Four team. That's literally... That's like my only goal in life, is to construct the perfect Fantastic Four team and trounce all my enemies forever. One day I'll find it. I've got ideas. And eventually after this video, and there's another video that'll come out in a couple weeks with a Fantastic Four character. And I think you guys might have an idea of who that would be. When that one comes out, I'll actually do like a Fantastic Four team video and have team ideas. Since we've gone over all the figures in these ones, it'll be easy to just like, hey, check. Okay, so then this is when we do these figures. All right, anyway, moving on. Okay, we're going into I guess we're really already into the unique versions of Sue. Here we've got the Invisible Woman. I guess she's Captain Universe Invisible Woman. This sculpt isn't nearly as good as pictures of Captain Universe Invisible Woman or the picture on her. I mean, I meant the paint job. Excuse me. The sculpt is obviously amazing. The color scheme is nice, but you don't really get to see the stars and stuff in the black streaks on her body, which is disappointing. But that's because I really like space. Can you tell? She has improved targeting through hindering and blocking. She destroys it. And she can also shoot when she's adjacent to people. She's got a movement power. I've had just about enough of you. Force Blast, hypersonic speed. When Invisible Woman knocks a character back and their knockback path is blocked, after resolution, deal that character 1 penetrating damage. So this is a way for her in Modern to do knockback damage. But of course, you see, I still use knockback damage, so this will just mean that this Sue does 2 knockback damage, or an additional. Because if you fall off of a height and you don't fly or have improved movement elevated, you'll take 2 penetrating damage. Okay, so next we have, I guess that's really her stop click there, her defense power. Stop. Invisible Woman can't be healed. Barrier. Barrier is free, but only to generate 2 markers. Okay. And then she's got her damage power, Perplex. When this power is first revealed, choose another friendly character that shares a keyword. The chosen character modifies all combat values +1 and has the power cosmic team ability, can shoot through, hindering, and blocking, and destroys blocking, and then can shoot adjacent to adjacent people. Sorry, that was hard for me for a second there. They just get all the nicety nices of what she's got. And looking at her dial here, we can see that she's just a beast in the front end here, with that hypersonic speed, which is, they say, tabled, retired, if you will, but here it is, and force blast. And she's just knocking people back left and right. She's got precision strikes, so you really can't escape her. Or probability control that whole time. You love seeing those first clicks, though, right? The 14, 13, 19, 5. You're like, ooh, hello. What's going on over here? If you start her at the 140 line, she starts with 12, 11, 18, 4. Nothing to scoff at again, but that's really probably her most efficient line. That's a really hefty 90 points you pay for those 3 clicks. Each of those clicks, then, look at that. Each of those clicks in between the green and the red lines are worth 30 points. I don't know about that. Later on, she gets super strength and charge and exploit weakness, strangely enough. But there it is. And then she gets to her 2 stop clicks, wherein she gives her power cosmic ability to another friendly character, which is super tight. And like, yeah, it's fun to do. I did it to the thing one time, and I was very stoked. This is a great Sue. Her, nothing to scoff at, really. She's a really powerful character. Maybe not as damage. Maybe 250 is a little expensive for her, but if you can land some hefty blows with her before she gets down to her red line, then it's worth it. All right, next we have Human Torch version of Sue. This is when she and Johnny accidentally change powers, and because of that, Johnny has Sue's powers, and then Galactus notices him and wants him as his herald, and so he's his herald for a bit. We were going to go over that in the Johnny video, but I decided to do that instead in the herald video. Oh, the herald video. That's not even the video I'm talking about for the next one to come out. That's just another one I've got. Okay. Human Torch version of her. So let's see. Flare Up. I'm not sure how to control it. Poison, but if she's adjacent to an opposing character, she also damages adjacent friendly characters. Sucks, but, it's okay. Can't control Johnny's powers. At the beginning of your turn, roll a d6, 1 to 5. Turn to the click number equal to the result, or 6. Turn to click 1 to 5 of your choice. So looking at her dial here, it's a lot of fun. It's just, this is how I guess she gets healed, too, at the beginning of your turn. So say somebody knocks her down to her last click. Well, you can just roll a 1 the next time, a 1 or a 6, and you get back to first click. She's always got... Her stats are pretty much the same. They're all the same. They're literally the exact same the whole dial through, with just different powers, which is really cool. I like this one a lot. For 40 points, too. She's just it really just all depends on your die rolls. She could be, like, always on the map, always helping you, being a thorn in the side of opponents for 40 points, or she could die immediately. That's the risk you take with this Sue, but I like it. All right, next we have the Sue from Battle World. Battle World! Where good old Vic Von Doom gets what he finally wants and becomes the God Emperor of the whole world and universe. So yeah, this one is the Chase from the Fantastic Four set. She's got that lame-o form the new Fantastic Four competitive play nonsense. I don't know if this is supposed to be her putting up a force shield with this yellow. I don't know. Or maybe she's coming out of a portal. That's what some people have said. Don't remember there being yellow portals like this. But I could just be forgetting the story. Because it was a bit forgettable. Anyway, Mercy at the left hand of doom is what she's got with her trait here. Barrier. Barrier is free, but only to generate 2 markers. Sue Storm may use her displayed attack and damage powers as if she occupied a square of her barrier markers. It's pretty cool. Next, she has Queen of Battle World. Leadership, Perplex. When Sue Storm uses Perplex to target another character with a Battle World keyword, you may instead modify a combat value except damage by +2 or -2. It's cut off there, but I figure that's what it says. Looking at her dial here, it's very nice. There's really nothing to say other than that she's just wildly useful the whole time. The 18 straight defense the whole way through with super senses, and then, energy shield deflection in the middle. The Quake is not as useful as you would like it to be, but she also does have prob during those clicks, and Force Blast, which is nice. And in the beginning, she's moving people around with her telekinesis. The important thing to remember is that that barrier thing is a trait. So she can always do 2 markers of barrier and shoot from them, or count and draw. Let's see. She may use her displayed attack and damage powers as if she occupied a square of her barrier markers. You could literally use Quake or Force Blast. So yeah, this Sue has instantly become... This one's like the Deep Cuts one on steroids. I feel like that's a pretty good comparison. Yeah, I like it. So yeah, I gave her an 8.8. Moving on. Next we have Susan, Queen of Atlantis. This is the title character Sue. Here's that thing I was talking to you about where her force powers are like kind of blue. Even though they're invisible. Maybe she's got water in her arm there. Okay. She just encased one of her arms in water. I like it this way. Okay, she's got no special powers, which is generally what they do with title characters, which I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but it's kind of cool. Okay, so let's look at her title character abilities first. Also, obviously, this Sue is on my water team, my unbeatable water team. The water team that has never been beaten and will never be beaten. The water team rules all and will obliterate all. And if you think you can make a flight team that could beat my water team, I bet that you're wrong. And I also bet that my dad could beat up your dad. When Susan, Queen of Atlantis, is KO'd, opposing characters gain dolphin symbol for the rest of the game. So instantly everybody else is like, well, look, if she's not the Queen of Atlantis anymore, I can swim. That's really what it comes down to. She's got her +1 plot point. Free, generate 2 water terrain markers in Susan, Queen of Atlantis' square and or adjacent squares. Until your next turn, friendly characters occupying water terrain modify defense +1, and each time a friendly character occupying water terrain is missed by an attack, heal that character or Susan, Queen of Atlantis 1 click. That's, there is nothing... It's so good. She has -X number of plot points. Free, generate X water terrain markers in Susan, Queen of Atlantis' square and or adjacent squares, where X is the number of plot points spent for this action. If 1 or more plot points were spent for this action this turn, when a friendly character that has the dolphin symbol or the Atlantis keyword occupying water terrain hits, gain 1 plot point. So you can just yeah, you can just keep making more water. It's just this never-ending cycle of water. I don't know why I'm pretending like I don't know how to use her. It's a never-ending cycle of water. And if you think about what Blackbeard or Namor, the chase from Captain America and the Avengers, if you think about the things that they can do, things that they add to people with the dolphin symbol or who share a keyword with them, and Thing gives everybody with the dolphin symbol the pirate keyword, it gets nuts. And then the Storm of Atlantis. Free. Gain 1 mission point for each water terrain marker generated by Susan, Queen of Atlantis, that is in a square closer to an opponent's starting area than your own. And we know what those mission points are. That's if you get 20 or more, you win the game. So if you can put 20 or more water markers closer to your opponent's starting area than your own, I mean, it's amazing. Just get past the halfway line of the game and start flooding the whole area. Looking at her dial here, she's nothing to scoff at for 70 points. I mean, look at this. Invulnerability, that'll take a nice solid hit, and then she'll go to defend at the end there with a 19 defense. Just a really useful Sue. She's more useful when you pair her with somebody like a bodyguard for her, because then she can support them. She can give them empower, which is very nice, and she can incapacitate the target that they're walloping, or outwit their defense power. So yeah, this is just a really absolutely amazing Sue. And yeah. And that, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we'll do it for tonight. That was the last Sue I have. And I believe that's the last one. Oh, we didn't go over the one from Empire. We already went over that one. Yeah, we already went over that one. So yeah, that'll be it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like hearing me talk about HeroClix and other random things, go ahead and give me a little subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Drop a comment if you have something to say about one of these HeroClix. Let me know which one's your favorite. If you've got one. If you don't have a favorite, why don't you have a favorite? You should think about that. Why, you can't really say that none of them you fancy more than the others. You gotta have a favorite. So stop lying about it. Just write it down. Write it down there, and we'll talk about it, okay? All right.